Hi everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching from. This is Charrisse Smith from The Road to Good Credit, and I'm coming to you live from New York. It is now, I think maybe 10 minutes after 12 here in New York. So wherever you are, hello to you. It's been a while since I've made a video. The last time I made a video was I believe it was in May, and I talked about a few things about the last class that I had online. So I'm here to just talk a little bit about what's coming up. The live online class will be on August 5th, which is a Saturday, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the topic will be how to overcome emotional spending. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you a bit about the topics that we'll be talking about, and in the class share a couple of things in regards to the class. I would have to say this is one of the best classes that I've taught. This is the first time that I will be teaching it online. People who have taken the class really got a lot out of the class. The topics that we will be talking about will be what is emotional spending, the root of emotional spending, triggers to emotional spending, and controlling emotional spending. It is something that it was birthed actually through the things that I've gone through in the past, and also part of it was what I've learned also through training and also counseling people, and I saw different trends and different patterns in people's spending habits and in people's lives. So I realized in me counseling people throughout the years, I've been doing this now for, I'll say for the last 9 years. And again, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll see my background in regards to where I really received a lot of training, a lot of learning, a lot of skills, 15 years of mortgages, and then another added on a little bit of real estate here and there, and then I did a lot of counseling, and I went for training to become certified. So if you watch my past videos, you'll see that a lot of things that I've gone through, I learned a lot from that, but I also learned a lot from training, and also experience in training other people and seeing what their issues were. And one of the things that I realized is that you can teach a person until they're blue in the face in regards to numbers, okay? But if you are not tackling the habits, if you went through my other video, you could see where I failed at fixing my credit and keeping my credit, maintaining my credit, because I was not getting that help or that counseling or that receiving any type of training in how to untie the knots of my habits, my patterns. And a lot of it came from emotional things from the past, emotional things that I had gone through that I brought into my adult years. And not only just watching my parents, it's just things that I had picked up myself from my, just from my life and things that I had gone through. I'll share one thing that I had gone through in my past that I had picked up. I remember as a kid, being that I come from a very large family, I remember there were times where things became a little rough, and I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to that. Things became tight, things became rough. And I remember one of the things that I could not stand was running out of toilet tissue or toilet paper, whatever you want to call it, okay? And one of the things that I could not stand was running out of that. And, coming from a large family, there were other things that we would run out of. But that one thing of running out of toilet paper was one of them. And I remember as a kid getting angry because we did not have any toilet paper, and we had to use other things to do our business in the bathroom, right? So I remember becoming so angry that I would say things like, in my mind, I would never say it out loud, but I would say, when I get older, I'm never going to run out of paper. I'm never going to run out of toilet paper. And I remember my father worked for transit, and he would bring home sometimes like those little tiny toilet papers, like a little square, where you would just like make those pulls, and it would just, you couldn't wipe with that, you know. So I remember using that, and I remember just being so angry of having to do that. So I made that vow that I would never ever do that again. So as I got older, I had remember going to BJ's and buying like these big, huge, you know, cases of toilet paper. And it was not only just toilet paper, it would be paper towels, and I would have napkins. And I made sure that I did not run out of any toilet paper or any type of paper. And being that I lived by myself, I don't have any children. I remember, I forgot who it was, but someone came over to my house and they were like, "What are you doing with all this paper?" And I was like, "Girl, please, what?" I was like, I have my paper. You don't understand. You just don't understand. You just don't understand. And I remember I had mentioned to her, I believe it was my sister, and I had mentioned to her, I said, "Do you remember when we would run out of toilet paper?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, I'm not running out of toilet paper anymore." And she would be like, you know, "Well, you don't have to do, that's not going to happen anymore. That happened in the past." And I was just like, you know, I just like kind of like waved at her like, "You don't understand. You don't know." She knew. She was there, right? But I noticed that everything that we all went through as a family, it affected us all in a different way. And if that had affected me in that way, where I made sure that I didn't run out of toilet paper. And then there's some other people who could relate to that, because every time I tell that story, they pull me over to the side and they're like, "Oh my God, you were just talking about me." There were other people who also go through food, who will stock up on food and it'll rot. I remember I had a family member that used to do that, that would just like constantly purchase large amount of food and it would go rotten. But because of, I mean, at the time I didn't understand it as a kid, but now that I'm older, I see where it came from. And now that I know, as far as like experience and training and things like that, I see where it came from. So they would make sure that they would never run out of food, even if they had to restock on food that they had not even used. Well, that was the same thing with me. And that's just one area of mine. Okay, I would stock up on toilet paper, and you know, I would just make sure that paper towels. I mean, I would have paper crazy to the like I don't know what. Well, I'm delivered from that today because I understand that I now have control over that. And of course, a person who doesn't understand that, they will be like, "Well, just go out there and just buy another roll of paper." That's not our mentality. Our mentality is the fear of what has happened to us in the past. So therefore, we take that and we use it today to get past that fear of making sure that we have enough. And it's not so much of that we can't go out there and get it. We don't think like that. That's not our mindset. So for a person who would say something like that, as far as for a person who's gone through that, that's not their thinking. That's not their concept. So what I wanted to share with you is that that's just one area. There's so many other areas, even in my life, that I realized that I had brought from my childhood, not only my childhood, from past relationships. And it's like those are triggers, those are things that I had begun to spend. And not only spend, you could also use this as far as for people who's eating, or who's doing things out of the norm to numb or to get away from what is going on emotionally. And it turns out that whatever's going on in the inside, it begins to reflect on the outside, where it's through your spending, where you're hopping from relationship to relationship, or you're eating a lot, or whatever the case, drinking, drugging. It can go across the whole board, okay? So this class will touch on a lot of things. I've noticed in the past that when I had counseled people and it came to them to come to that place of, them getting to the root of what's going on with their finances. A lot of the times it's not numbers. It's that emotional part. And I remember I had a gentleman that came to see me for counseling for his finances, and it started out as finances. We got into his finances, and we were there like maybe 2 counseling sessions, and I saw the issue there then. But I had to wait for him to be able to talk about what had happened or what needs to happen next. Once we got to that place of the emotional part, we couldn't even concentrate on the financial part, because now what he was coming to see me was about untying and unscrambling those things in regards to the emotional part. And I remember him coming in every week. Once a week he would come in to see me, and we wouldn't talk about finances. We would talk about what he needed to do next to untie the next knot. And I remember us writing things out, and he needed someone, and sometimes this is what you need. You need someone to hold you accountable to go into that next level, to go into that next place, to go into that. And it could be just to the person who's on the outside. It could be something as small or simple. Well, I can do that. Yeah, you can do that. But some people need that encouragement. They need that person to be like, well, did you do so and so and so? Did you do so and so? So what's next? What you're going to do next? This is what you're going to do next. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes some people need that. And that's what he needed. Not only him, there were a couple of other people that needed that as well. And I remember him coming to me, and you know what? He got out of it. He got out of that place of where he was to where he needed to be. And it took a moment, it took a while, but you could see that he was very adamant in making it out. I remember he was going through a divorce, and it was just a lot of things that he was going through, and he was going to court, him and his wife, or his ex-wife, and I kind of felt bad for him, because I could see what he was trying so hard to work so hard to keep it together and just to move forward. And it was just a lot of things that were going on between he and his wife, and children were involved, and he wanted to go back to school. He had to go to school to receive his degree, and he had to pay off a bill, and then he had to finish a class, and all this stuff. So it was just like a lot of things that were going on. But from him coming to me and sitting down and the counseling, the emotional part, and him talking to someone, and him, mapping out a plan and following that plan, and having someone to hold him accountable to what he did do or what he did not do. Every week then he would come, there were some things that he did not do, and I would be like, okay, so, I wouldn't beat him over the head, but I would tell him, okay, so you did not finish this, so you're going to come back and finish this the next week, or whatever the case may be. But it worked out. He was able to get past that place of any type of complacency, any type of, procrastination. He had someone to stay behind him. And most of the times, that's what we need. And that's what this class is about. Not only is a class just for 2 hours, there's also an aftermath of the class where I hold you accountable. There's that's the coaching part. That's the part where somebody is like, rah, rah, rah. And the next part is like, nah, nah, nah. So it's like some people, we need that. We need someone that's going to hold us accountable, not be fake about it, not be, you held me accountable this week, but you didn't hold me accountable the next week. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this class is all about. So I just wanted to leave you with that in regards to how to overcome emotional spending. We go into a lot of things in the class as far as the emotional part. I'll just share with you, there was a class that I taught, and there was a young lady in the class who, the class gets really, it's not emotional, but a lot of people, when they see that they're not the only one who are going through this, they share their story. And one young lady was in a class, and she talked about how she, something happened in her past. She didn't go into what happened in her past, or she just talked about how she felt about herself, her self-esteem. And she went out and she purchased a dress, and she would go home and she would walk around in the dress because it made her feel better about herself. And then she would wear it around the house just to feel pretty and just to feel beautiful. And then she would take it off and take it back to the store and return it. So that's something that, a lot of people do, that don't say anything at all about what's going on. And a lot of people will shop or spend out of emotions because of what has happened in the past. So I understand that the class costs $65, but look at it like this. We spend money on ourselves for so many things. I mean, it could be our nails, our hair, shoes, clothes, gadgets, whatever the case may be. And I'm not against that. I'm not against anyone having anything nice. But when you're shopping out of the emotional, a broken place, a broken emotional place, then that's when it becomes a problem. And if you are trying to fix your credit and prepare your credit and prepare your finances, you want things in life, you want a house, you want a car, you want just to have nice, good credit. And you keep going back into those same patterns over and over and over again because you're not dealing with the emotional part. You're not dealing with the habits. You're not dealing with the patterns. This class is for you. You have to make an investment in yourself. There's nothing wrong with cleaning up and looking nice on the outer appearance, but the inward appearance is still, like dry bones. You're still dying on the inside, but you look so beautiful on the outside. And I'm one of those people. I did it too, and sometimes I have to catch myself even now not to go down those roads because there are still things that I'm still dealing with from the past and from the relationships and from this and from that and things like that. But I realize now, because of my training, and I now apply what I've learned through my training and through my years of going through, I have to take an account for myself. I can't teach people and I'm being pulled back myself. So I have to catch myself. And I have to sometimes sit myself down and be like, look, okay, what are you doing this out of? Why are you doing this? And really try to minister to myself first. But what I'm telling you is that you have to make that choice of what are you going to do to make that investment in your inner soul, in your inner man, to heal, to hold, in order for you to move forward. And sometimes there's going to be a cost. Everything is not going to be for free. I had to pay dearly for experiences, learning, counseling, trainings. Some things did not come out of my pocket as far as the cost, but a lot of things came out of my pocket as far as the time. And I remember coming home at night, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I remember going straight from, 3, 4 days, 5 days, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and not getting home until 10 o'clock at night. And I remember going away even for trainings. I put in time. I put in effort. Things that I've been on jobs where I was paid, underpaid, but still learned and things like that. Those are costs. Those are costs. Those are prices that I had to pay. So don't look so much at it as, oh, it's $65. I can get it for free. Well, go and get it for free if you can. But if you can't, and if it's something that you're looking to do, and it's something that you're looking to go to the next level on, there's going to be a price, there's going to be a cost, whether it be your time or whether it be your money. that you're pouring into it in order for you to get out of the place of your mindset, the way that you think, and the way of what's going on the inside, to start uprooting those things and start dealing with the past and start dealing with those things that are causing you to continue in that same cycle. I'm going to share this last thing with you. I remember going to training, and I think it was like the beginning classes of my training. This was like maybe 6 years ago. And the instructor said, the first thing he said was, the person with the worst credit is a credit counselor. And oh my gosh, I remember sinking down in my seat, and I felt like this small. Because you know what? He was right on time. My credit was horrid. Okay? I mean horrid. And the first thing I said before I sat up in my seat and really, really listened to what he said, and from that day forward, took the training that I had very seriously, not so much for other people, but for myself. I remember making a vow to myself, okay? You may have bad credit now, but going forward, you cannot teach people how to have good credit and have bad credit yourself. So you got to get it together. And again, if you look at my last video, to this day, now I have impeccable credit. I have great credit. Thank God. And because of the training that I've had, because of the things that I have put into place, and not only that, God had even even dealt with me as far as like the fears that I had, even in now moving forward to use credit in a wise way, but still, like, I was still at that place of like fear of messing up my credit because of what had happened to me in the past. So, you know, it was some things that he had shown me, like, you got to let those things go. You have to, don't get me wrong now, I'm not saying to go out there and just be like, hey, and just, you know, like swipe away. No, he's not saying that. But you're not going to live in fear. You cannot live in fear. And that's across the board. In anything. You cannot live in fear to use your money. You cannot use it, using it wisely. You can't sit on your money. You can't sit on your credit. You can't sit on, I want a house, but I can't move forward because I'm afraid I'm going to go back into that was me. I'm afraid I'm going to go back into the same habits. No. You got to get past that. So today I have good credit. Today I know how to spend. Today I know when I'm getting out of line, and I know how to pull myself back. And I know how to deal with whatever it is that's coming up emotionally that's causing me to go out there and spend, to begin dealing with it and begin dealing with the core of it. So that's what I wanted to share with you in regards to what the class is all about, how to overcome emotional spending. It's a great class, I have to say. Anyone who has who's watching this video, or who's going to watch this video, and has taken the class, please, leave a comment in the section about how good the class was, how much it helped you, and just to encourage people about it. And also, the Road to Good Credit will be a page that I'm beginning, and I'm starting also. So if you could also share the video and like the page, in regards to help other people that are going through the same thing, So if you have any questions, you have a friend, family, if it's a group of you that would like to take the class, we'll see if we could work out a cost, or, I can work out a cost for you. If it's a double person, if it's you and your husband, if it's you and a friend, or, you want to take it together as a group, come on and do something. You have to do something about it. You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it, right? Okay? So there's some other things that are coming up too. I'm also going to have a class here in New York, Brooklyn, New York. It's a free class. We'll be talking about a health check, a financial health check, in regards to where are you with your financial health, okay? Your credit, your debt, your retirement, your investments. We're going into that. I have a investor who's coming in. He's a great guy that I've worked with, and we're going to just see exactly where you are in regards to your finances, all around a financial health check. Just like you've come in for a physical, you're coming in for a financial physical. Okay, so I'm going to post that as well on my page, The Road to Good Credit, and I'll be having some other goodies that are coming up. I have a nephew who's into financials, and we're talking about some classes that we want to come up with, and that's coming up in the future. So, you know, and it's not all going to be for a cost. Some of it will be just free, just us coming on and just talking on Facebook. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll have all the information on my page where you can contact me, phone number, you can send an email. You could also leave a post on the page, okay? So thank you for watching my video. Thank you for watching my past videos. I appreciate it, and I hope this is helpful. And I hope to see you on August 5th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., which is on a Saturday. And it's how to overcome emotional spending. Thank you, and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye now.